You can become a victim, or you can be like, this is my education. Because the biggest education is not in school, it's through people and through cultures and through traveling. That's how you become smart. Are you going to let these people make you feel small, or are you going to make them feel like the opposite and like prove them wrong? For me, it's like, I love being underestimated. It gives me a lot of motivation. You're meant to feel uncomfortable.
All right, guys, we have not one but two guests today. She's not a top model. She's not a actress of Hollywood, even though the looks can get us there. This is Charlotte, and this is
Zeppelin. Yes, the one and only.
The one and only. He's gonna be the support for this conversation. Mm-hmm. He's just finding the right position.
The right angle. And then he'll find himself Zen Zeppelin. Good boy.
All right, guys. So you can hear that Charlotte has an accent. So we're going to dive into her story, where she's from, what she does. She's a very interesting individual. We met recently, and from what I saw, I was very curious about her story, her creativity, because she's an artist. And let's dive deep into who she is and what brought her here on my couch today. So welcome.
Thank you.
Charlotte, let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
Where are you from? Where's your accent from?
So my mum is Australian and my dad is Swedish.
Okay.
So that's the base. But I did spend almost 10 years in Paris. So I'm aware that because I had to learn to speak French, probably my accent like shifted a little bit, you know.
We have a mix of the New World, Old World, and America here. So that's just like my story. I feel like we have a lot of things in common.
Yeah.
You guys know, if you don't know, I lived in Australia. I'm familiar with the Australian culture. She's from Sydney, and I lived in Sydney. So where in Sydney, like, did you, like, you grew up, or?
Well, I never grew up in Australia. I was born in Sydney, and all my family from my mother's side are there. So I obviously spent a lot of time there. I would go there like every year, and I did live there at some point, a bit back and forth for like 2 years, but that was right before I began university. So that was when I was like 20, 21, 22.
Okay.
And then when I was, a month before I turned 22, I moved to Paris. And I just spent a lot of time in Australia, like working and stuff,
So born in Australia, and then Sweden.
Yeah, sorry. So I mainly grew up in Sweden.
What city?
Well, it was actually, it's the peninsula of Sweden. It's called Ljunghusen, and it's a... Ljunghusen, yeah. It's actually, if you like translate it like directly, it means like young houses.
Okay.
Like young means like, yeah.
Yeah.
But, what's it called? So it was like a beach town.
Oh, so
like on the beach.
It's south, I assume.
Yeah, the peninsula of Sweden. So Sweden is really long. So it's the most southern point, but the closest city would be Malmö, which is like 30 minutes away.
Okay.
Yeah, but my dad is from Stockholm. And when I was 14, the reason I'm back in Miami now is because when I was 14, we moved here as a family.
Okay.
So me and my siblings, my mom and my dad, we moved here. I went to high school here for a few years, and then...
Miami.
And then I obviously landed in Paris, but my parents and my siblings stayed here. So they've been here for a long time, like 15 years. And my younger siblings have spent more time in America than what they have in Sweden. So then when I knew I was ready to leave Paris, I was contemplating on a lot of different places of where to go, and I just kept my mind open, and I never expected to come back permanently to Miami. But I'm so happy I did, because I think it's one of the best cities in the world now, and it's just really... motivating when you go with your own intuition. You know, have you ever had this feeling of something, but like no one else is confirming it to you? The only thing you can trust is the feeling.
Constantly, yeah.
Yeah, to like see it, like, oh, I was actually right. And you could see it in like moments and details throughout years, but I've seen I kind of see the result of it. I mean, it's still the momentum, but it's very clear to me that I made the right decision now after me living in Miami for over 3 years again.
Okay.
So
let's take a step back because I got a
Sure.
lot of questions.
Yes,
You
yes.
skipped, but I
Sorry.
don't want to skip. Tell me about Stockholm, or I mean Sweden.
Sweden.
How's life over there? I'm European, but obviously
Yeah.
like I'm from completely different part
Yeah.
of Europe. How is life in Sweden?
like Scandinavia, because Scandinavia itself is different from the rest of Europe.
Yes.
So I think I had a really good upbringing in Sweden. It's like a very safe place, or it was. I'm not
Okay.
going to speak for it now because I haven't lived in Sweden since I'm 19 years old.
Okay.
Like permanently, you know, I've been back and forth a little bit. But what Sweden has brought me and my family, and I think anyone that experiences that culture, it's revolved around a lot of really nice traditions that I guess stem from religion. But Sweden isn't really a religious place, you know, like there's not, it's Protestant, first of all. So it's not like, you know, Italy or France where it's very Catholic. But their traditions were like dissected from that. So there's Midsummer, Valborg, all these like pagan traditions, like kind of like very, you know, there's the Viking influence.
Man, that's so fascinating for me.
Yeah. No, and it really is like, it's very like, I don't know, like there was a lot of witch trials in Sweden.
No way.
Yeah. And you can kind of see it, like it has this, I don't know, like Easter is really big in Sweden, which I know it's a big holiday, you know,
Yeah.
for like Catholics, but it's very big in Sweden, but it's more about like the traditions. You like paint eggs and like you fly on like a broomstick, like you take a broomstick and you like dress up and you knock on people's doors, like your neighbors'
You
doors.
guys dress up as witches?
Yes, yes. And we go to Blåkulla. It's called Blåkulla.
What is it?
Like this place where witches like travel to. Like they get on their broomstick and they go to Blåkulla. So there's a lot of this like these type of traditions. Valborg, it's like we celebrate winter solstice, so and summer solstice. So like I think, I don't know if it's summer solstice Valborg, if it's midsummer. No, it has to be Valborg. So like on the 1st of May, it's you light this huge fire, like huge bonfire. Like it's not just like a small one, like it can be the size of a house.
Oh, wow.
You know, and everyone comes. And then for midsummer, you have like, it's called a krans. Like it's basically like a tree, but it's like more ornamental. Like, have you seen it? Like
No.
Probably people know the movie Midsummer, but that's like a very cultish, like view of it, take on Midsummer. But you dance around. And
Wait. Midsummer is the movie that they jump from the mountain, the cliff?
but
God.
that was like a very culty thing, you know, like that they made that movie.
That
That's
movie like
that's
messed
a
up
scary
with my
movie.
mind so much.
Yeah, it's a fucked up movie. It's disgusting.
Guys, it's not a horror movie, but it's a movie.
No, I would say it's a thriller. It's like very weird.
Like these Americans, they are invited to this like festival that takes place in the Swedish village, and they go there and they have all these weird practices, and
Yeah.
like people get on top of this cliff and they jump down and they die.
Well, also a thing that goes like unsaid about that movie, because I watched it and I was very deeply disturbed, but they're all on mushrooms. They're all shrooming and hallucinating.
They are hallucinating the whole time.
And it's like very culty, but those type of outfits, you wear them in Sweden during this time.
I mean,
you have to look it up.
some things are beautiful, you know, that they have this connection with nature and everyone's very peaceful and nice, but they're all fucked up.
Yeah.
It's so scary.
But it's not like that. I'm just saying that.
Sweden is not like that, guys.
They literally took a tradition and blew it out of proportion.
People don't jump from mountains in Sweden. Guys.
No self-sacrifice that I know of.
So,
Who knows?
okay, Sweden was very safe, very, I assume you guys spend a lot of time outdoors when it's a
Yeah.
nice season. There's
Yeah.
a lot of water. There's a lot of, it's a very nice
It's like a,
family-oriented type of upbringing.
yeah. Like I would say probably an ideal upbringing for like parents to watch their kids grow up.
Okay.
Like, safe. It's very, like I went to Montessori. So, I
didn't know that.
Yes. And it's very...
You guys know Montessori? No.
What
What is
Montessori? Montessori is kind of like, I think it goes up. I don't know when like the cutoff is for like the age, but I think it can go up until like 14 years old. I think I only did it until I was like 8 or something.
Okay.
But it's basically like, instead of you going to school and them telling you like, we're going to do math and history and whatever today, you like let the kids see what they're naturally gravitated towards. So if you see that the kid, you know, really has a talent for drawing, or really loves cooking, or loves doing math, you let the kid do what they feel like doing that day. And that doesn't mean that you let them like fly off the wall and like, you know, like have a food fight, but you kind of let their natural talents show, and you don't suppress them type. And I think that's a good
There's a Montessori
strategy.
here, Coconut Grove.
Is it? Yeah, I think it's a good strategy to a certain age, and then there needs to be like some type of structure. But yeah.
Can I ask you something about this?
Yeah.
I always read about it. Obviously, I don't have experience. I went to a very traditional, conservative mindset type of educational system, which is Italy. Mm-hmm. How's your view on like the typical like educational system, given the fact that you went to an alternative type of school?
Yeah. So I think it's a good point that I also put, that when I was 14, I then moved to America, and I went to private school here in Miami, and it was very rigid for me. Like, I went to private school in Sweden, but private school in Sweden is different from private school in America. You're still like free, like to like leave the school and stuff like that.
In Sweden?
Yeah.
Here, no.
Like, I always went to private school, yeah. But it's like, it's not such a big difference, public and private, in Sweden as it is here. And so here, obviously, you know, there's more regulations around safety. I was being driven everywhere, so I didn't have my own car when I was 15. Obviously, you don't get your driver's license until you're 18 in Sweden.
Yeah.
So it wasn't something on my mind. But I think there was like, it was definitely like a culture shock of like, oh, I have to like be here and like go to, we had like homeroom every morning, where homeroom is like, you just gather and like they take your names down. It's not a class. It's like for 15 minutes. And then you have to stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
This is here.
Yes. So that I was like, what's happening? And then, but I will say that I went to a preparatory, right? I went to Gulliver Preparatory. So
I don't know what that is.
it's like it preps you for college. So it's like the amount of work that you have to do is like almost college. It's like basically college level.
Okay.
So there's an incredible amount of work where like, you know, I was also an athlete where I was swimming. So it was difficult to juggle the two, but
Oh, you're a swimmer.
yeah. But it did help me a lot because then I moved back to Sweden and I had a bit of high school left to do.
Yeah.
And I was like very, like I was, how do I say it? Like I basically took a few tests for some of the classes in Sweden because they were too easy. So I was ahead of them when I got back.
Interesting. I would have thought the opposite. You
no,
would be
everyone
ahead
thinks
coming
that.
from Europe instead.
Well, when I came here, I was ahead in geography, history and geography. I was ahead, yes, but mathematics.
That doesn't surprise me.
But mathematics, I was behind. Mathematics, they're better here. And so when I came back, it was like, you know. So there's pros and cons to everything,
yeah.
You know, everything is neutral. Nothing is good. Nothing is bad. You know, it's just like what you secrete from the experience. Right. So, and so I think that's really helped me. And I have some good friends, that I have here in Miami from
those days.
Yeah. Like not a lot, but I have like 2 very good girlfriends from the top of my head.
Wait, they studied with you at Montessori in Sweden?
No, in Gulliver here in
okay.
in Miami.
Okay.
But yeah, and from Sweden, obviously I have friends, but I made the majority of my like close friends in Paris because I spent my whole 20s there, and I think you develop a lot as a person in your 20s, you know.
We're gonna go get into Paris in a second.
Yeah.
So Sweden.
I feel a bit like I know that you're supposed to ask me questions and everything, like, you know, it's my journey, but it's like, you know, when you talk about yourself for a prolonged time, you start feeling like, am I a narcissist?
Why? No.
Like-
No. I'm interested in. I'm actually interested, like in this. I mean, they're pretty opposite for a lot of different reasons. Places,
yeah,
like
it is true. It's true.
I mean, you guys, if you've never been to Miami, like let's describe Miami to someone that has never been here. It's colorful, it's noisy, there's traffic, there's this cultural clash of the first world and the second, third world. There's a lot of Spanish speakers more than English speakers. There's like Latino restaurants. It's loud. So someone coming from, I assume, very quiet, organized, clean. Everyone is civil. Everyone is educated. Country such as Sweden.
Yeah.
Coming here
So
must have
I
been.
don't know because my family is a little bit different from the average Swedish family, right? So like we fit in better in Miami, and I
Interesting.
used to come here since I was 7 years old. Like my dad found Miami on a business trip, like in I don't want to say that, I don't think it was the 70s. I think it was like the 80s or something, because he's born 60, and he was on a business trip, and then he like loved Miami and has done business in the US for a long time. And so my mom is from Australia, obviously, so we started coming here, and I'm the eldest of 6 children, so I feel like this is really important to like disclaim that I grew up in a very like loud household. So that loudness and like expressiveness is very normal for me and my siblings. Like we all have a similar personality.
Okay.
We're like, yeah, we come from like that type of culture, but we're very different from like the average Swedish family. And I think like, you know, obviously your parents aren't perfect. Mine aren't perfect. I'm sure yours aren't perfect. But I do think that they let us be who we are, you know? Like, no one suppressed me. Like, I had a leash when I was young because I was running around so much. So
You're talking about like literally?
I literally had a leash, the leash that Zeppelin has around my, because I would run everywhere.
Oh my God.
So I think, you know.
Like a little animal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I do believe that you're born with a personality. And obviously, like nature versus nurture is a different conversation, which is interesting as well. Yeah, everyone is like born with a personality. But when you're like 3 brothers and 3 sisters, and we're all like 2.5 years apart, we're all best friends now also.
Yo, that's amazing.
Like it was always chaotic. So I would have friends in Sweden come over and just basically watch us. Like they would just be like, sit like that, like with an open mouth, like, it would just be full entertainment, you know? So I think coming to Miami, so the reason my dad decided to come to Miami is he's also not the average Swedish guy. He went to university in California, and obviously, you know, had 6 children with the same woman, my mom. And so wherever we would go, people would stare at us. So in America, no one would stare at us, you know, just be
in
normal.
Sweden they will stare at you guys.
Everyone, yeah, they have a big issue with staring there, you know.
In Sweden?
Yeah, it's
Why?
but it's just their culture. They just like stare at you.
If they see that someone is out of the
Different.
stereotype,
Yeah.
they curious about you.
Yeah, when my mom would come to like pick up my siblings in like kindergarten,
Yeah.
like obviously everyone is blonde, and specifically where I grew up, everyone is like very blonde. And my mom like she's Australian, but like her you know, her what's it called, background is like, you know, Irish, Welsh, English. So she has dark hair because the Welsh are very dark.
So she's not a typical Swedish.
No, so like
woman.
just the fact that she has dark hair, all the kids would like stare at her, like, who is this, you know? So we're kind of like obviously my dad is like typical Swedish, like tall and very blonde and blue eyes.
So they will look like.
Yeah,
very
they look opposite. And so my youngest brother, he is almost 15 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And so when I was like around 18 or 20, or like into my 20s, when I would walk around with him, he would still be young, right?
Yeah.
And he would be with my mom. They would just assume I'm the mother, you know? Because he's like super blonde. So what I'm saying
that's
is that
interesting.
Miami actually is like
felt more
Felt
aligned with the
with
how you
us. And to your point about how, you know, he was saying that it's very like loud and like blah, 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 whatever. That's one type of Miami. But I personally, coming from a culture of Europe where I could just like go to cafes and do what I want, get on a bus when I'm 12 years old and be independent, I felt the opposite coming to Miami. I had to have a car, couldn't get a car when I was 15. Like I know that people get their driver's license that early, but it didn't occur to me.
Yeah.
And you know, all my other siblings are younger than me, so it's not like I'm a priority to be driven around, you know. So I was very bored here as a teenager, like extremely bored, because the Miami 15 years ago is not the Miami that it is today. It's changed. Like, I think for the better. I really love how Miami is now. If Miami was the Miami it was 15 years ago, I wouldn't have moved back from Paris because I would have been bored out of my mind.
What area of Miami you spend most of your time, like, with your family?
Well, so, like, my parents bought a house down in, like, very south. So, like, Cutler Cay, like, you know.
Cutler Bay?
Yeah, like Palmetto,
Okay.
down there. So, very south. But my high school was in Coral Gables. And
Coral Gables High School, this one here?
no, it's Gulliver. But it's, like...
Oh, I don't know what
I
this
think
is.
it's
Gulliver
considered
is.
Coral Gables, like it's off of Red Road. But I spent a lot of my time, I would say, like in Sunset Place. I actually was having this conversation with a friend yesterday.
Okay.
Who's only been here for 3 years.
Like
she
me.
oh yeah. So but I would spend a lot of my time in Coconut Grove as well. But Coconut Grove had a dip, like, and then they reconstructed it, you know. So now Coconut Grove is like the place to be. But they're
Coconut Grove is the place to be, guys. You have the best
it's the place to be.
matchas,
The best matchas.
best
the best zeppelins.
the best gyms.
Yes. You're close to the water, but
You're
it's
close
not
to the
on
water.
the beach.
It's
I'm
not as
promoting it.
It's less touristy than South Beach.
Yes. But
We
yes.
both love it.
But, you know, so, and also, but South Miami was like the place to be when, you know, it was like how Coconut Grove is today. You know how it is so like vibrant on like Fridays and Saturdays, and you see
Yeah.
a bunch of young kids. That's how South Miami was.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would spend my time like there.
Got it.
Yeah. Not too much on the beach, to be honest.
All right, we're back. I had a little break. Too much liquids this morning.
Eee.
So this is the first time I'm having matcha here.
Do you like it?
At the beginning, I was like, there's not much like flavor, but
You got to mix it up.
with what?
Like, you just got to mix it because, like, you got to stir it because all the matcha went to the bottom.
What is matcha?
It's green tea. It's, like, concentrated green tea. It's ceremonial, typically.
Ceremonial.
Yeah, from, like, Japan. But then obviously became a trend, just like avocado toast became a trend. Now we buy matcha for $10.
It's like it's very earthy.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know how else
Well,
to
it's
describe
highly
it.
caffeinated.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
but it's
shit.
tea. It's tea. It's caffeinated
I
tea.
don't do caffeine.
Yeah, but it's tea. It's caffeinated tea.
So what's the difference? Still caffeine.
Well, it's not as concentrated as coffee.
Okay, got it.
It's more natural.
All right,
I guess.
guys, we're back.
Kisses? That's nice. Oh, you gave a kiss.
I hope you didn't lick
Anything?
anything before that.
It's better if you don't know.
Oh my god.
It's better if you don't know.
All right, so we're back with Charlotte.
Zeppelin
He's
has
done.
left.
Okay.
He's like, I'm done here.
Kissed me and then he left. All right, we're back. So we're going from Miami, Sweden, and now we have Paris. What happened?
In Paris.
No, I mean, why Paris?
So when I graduated high school, I had I'd gone to New York to do like a summer program at Parsons. Because I always, since I was a little kid, I always wanted to do fashion design.
What is Parson?
Parsons is a design school that's from New York. They happen to have a location in Paris. However, I wasn't really too focused on Paris when I decided to do this program. It was my mum that had suggested that I do it, and I basically did like a 3-month program. I think it was 2 or 3 months in New York. And I left when I was like 19. And then I fell in love with New York. And I was like, oh my God, this is the place for me. And I was so into doing this program with the fashion design. And like I felt really fulfilled. And so then I came back and I had to have an operation. And there was like a few like complications around it.
What was it?
It was like I had like a problem in my gallbladder.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had to eventually get it removed.
No way.
Yeah, and then during this time,
Did you have stones?
yeah, I had 8 gallstones, and I'd been having pain in my. So basically, when you have like a gallbladder issue,
Yeah.
you get right radiating shoulder pain. So it looks like a stroke. Like you're doing like this all the time. You get like a lot of pain because it's like coming up. And
Are you familiar with the gallbladder flush, liver and gallbladder flush?
what
by
like a detox?
Andreas Moritz, yes.
No. But I was too far gone at that point because my gallbladder was going to burst. But I didn't know that I had this underlying issue. So I had to have like this operation, and I basically like was very anemic. I went down to Australia. So instead of going to university, going to New York, which I was intending to do, I got sick and then broke my foot at the same time because we went to Miami during Christmas, and I literally like the day after arriving to Miami. So, this is what happened. I forgot. So in Sweden, they misdiagnosed me because I was complaining about pain for like years, actually, for like 3 years since I was 16.
Okay.
And I just didn't feel like myself. I was always very athletic and like toned, slim, And then I started gaining weight, and I thought it was just like puberty, but I couldn't the only way I could describe it was that I didn't feel like I was in my body. Like I felt like very lethargic, and like I would still exercise and I couldn't lose weight. And with the gallbladder, when you have a gallbladder problem, it's typically linked to the 5 Fs, and this is what my grandfather told me.
The 5 F.
Yeah,
Fs.
and I'm not going to remember all of them, but it's like female, fertile, fat, and then 2 more Fs. Like these are like the symptoms of having gallbladder stones. So typically you get it when you're like in your 40s and you've already had kids, and it used to be like this huge scar on your stomach, like a vertical scar. Luckily, they've developed a method, and I had a keyhole surgery. So it's just, the doctor goes in with his tools and a camera and a light, and then they remove the gallbladder out of the belly button. So I only have basically it looks like I have gunshot wounds on my stomach. Like,
can I see?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. 1, 2, 3, and then it got out of my 1, 2, 3.
I can't even see it.
Well, this was like I did this operation when I was 20, so that was like 14 years ago. Wow, time flies when you're having fun.
So you don't have the gallbladder.
So I don't have the gallbladder.
How does that impact your health?
Yeah, so in the beginning, you just kind of have to continue eating the way you like. That's what my uncle told me because he's a doctor. But what I found is, so basically the gallbladder helps you to digest fats. So when you don't have it, it's like the filtering system before the liver. And the bile duct will take over its function.
Okay.
So it's like the appendix. You can live without it. But I found that I was very sensitive to digesting fats. So I had to I basically became like dairy intolerant. And then it was more of a...
That's a problem in France.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't eat croissants or like any of this during the time in Paris. Actually, I was vegan for the majority of my time in Paris. Like for 5 years, I was vegan. And then for like another 3 years, I was pescatarian because I started eating fish again. But I just couldn't digest any fats. So it was a process of elimination for me. It wasn't that, I'm not going to eat that. But every time I had something creamy or even meat or even like salmon that's high in fat, I couldn't digest it. And another thing is like you kind of become a cheap date because you can only you can get drunk pretty easily. At least my experience.
Because you don't have the enzymes.
Yeah, well, it just goes straight to your liver, So you just got to be careful because you can still get.
And you don't eat anything, so you just go like to a restaurant and you have salad.
No. So now.
Well, not now, like back in those days.
Yeah. So then I just became vegan, right? And then but then since moving to Miami, like the food is so different here, and it just like that vegan diet, like I was eating fish or whatever, but it just wasn't working for me. So I started eating meat, like I would say like almost 2 years ago. And now, great. It complete, like, you know, I don't know.
You don't want to overeat it though.
No, like I still like vegetables and stuff, but I just noticed that like the thing is as well in your life, whether you've had a surgery or not, your hormones change. And like obviously not a doctor, so I'm not a professional to like talk on this topic, but I have read a lot about you know, different books around health and longevity and all this stuff. It's an interest and a hobby of mine. But you naturally change. So now my body just works better on like a higher protein diet.
Okay.
And I've started to eat like more dairy products now.
Got it.
Yeah, but it was like, you know.
So I mean, you do the surgery, everything is fine.
Yeah. Well,
whatever.
And
Paris.
I broke my foot.
Okay.
I broke my foot while so then I stayed in Australia and I was like working there for a bit. Then I kept thinking like my dream was always to go to university, obviously. And so I kept thinking about passes, but obviously I wasn't in a condition to like go. So I was in Australia on my computer and I applied to both campuses.
New York and Paris.
And Paris, just because I was like, I don't care. I just want to go to university. But I applied like the next year, you know, like instead of applying like in a few months, whatever.
Okay.
So because I didn't know when I would be better. And then the Paris campus like responded quicker. So I was like, yes. And then I think I left Australia like in like May or June. I had like I went back to Sweden. I had like a Swedish summer, European summer. And then I moved to Paris on my own. And the first month I didn't even have an apartment.
Did you speak French when you moved?
No. I didn't speak French. Well, I'd taken like French classes. Like I could say like cat, dog, hello,
basic.
My name is.
Okay.
Very basic. And then I moved and then, And then the reason I stayed in Paris for so long is that when I was done with...
How long did you stay in Paris?
9 years. So from 21, 22 until 31.
Okay.
Then I moved here. Back here. Oh, and then when I turned 23 years old...
In Paris?
Yes. I broke my foot again.
The same foot?
The different foot, but the exact same bone, the fifth metatarsal.
Doing what?
Literally opening a door and I fell.
Did you have heels?
Yeah, but that's exactly the way that I broke my first foot. I just opened the door and I had like thongs on, like flip-flops, and I like cracked my fifth metatarsal. But I think it was just because my body was still like weak from these operations and the gallbladder and stuff.
Yeah.
So it took my body a long time to like, you know, like I was anemic, like my hair would not grow past like this.
Okay.
So it takes your body a while to like feel good. And then, and so then I had to take like a little break, but I was still in Paris and voila.
Let's open this Paris chapter. So did you like it from the beginning? How was like your first impression of Paris? Like, did you feel alone? Lonely, away from your family?
No.
How did the Parisian embrace this
Les Parisiens.
this melting pot of woman that
Right.
Where was you?
So I've always been very independent. Like I'm the eldest of 6 children, so I've always done my own thing, and like I love my siblings, I love my family, but I'm very good on my own. And I know I'm a very social person. I think people have the interpretation of me that I'm an extrovert, but I'm very much an introvert. I like to be alone. And
What's the
definition?
No, what's the word that describes like who's both?
Ambivert.
That's you?
I think it's me, yeah. So because the thing is, an extrovert doesn't need to be like very like social and out there and a lot of energy, but the definition of an extrovert is that they become energized from being around people.
Okay.
I feel depleted about being around people.
Guys, listen, this is important.
Yeah. So I love being around certain people. Like, you know, I'm social. The thing is, I'm really curious about people. I love talking to people, and I think I trained myself out of being scared to approach people, because I remember there was a period in my life when I was younger where I would be like, I'd get a lot of like anxiety about approaching someone, or like walking past the older kids in school. It would give me like, I'm the eldest. I didn't have anyone that had my back when I was little. And like now my siblings have my back because my brothers look like they're older than me, but I had to have my own back. So I had to train myself to have a strong personality. Even if I probably had a strong personality since I was little, you can ask my parents, but I was more scared about things. And then actually that's something to go back to. That's something like being in school in America, in high school, taught me, because in Sweden, if you like put your hand up to ask a question and they thought it was a dumb question, they would laugh at you. Where in America, I think as a 14-year-old being in high school in America, it gave me confidence. So I came back with like more confidence in Sweden. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be like the one that looks dumb, I'm going to take like the punch for everyone else, because I think it's a domino effect. Because if you show that you're courageous, there's 100% chance that someone else wanted to ask that question, or like finds like, you know, sees like is inspired by how you are, and it'll give them courage to like get out of their shell.
Wow.
So I had that attitude when I came back. I'm like, I'm gonna do this for me and for everyone else.
I think America gives people that.
Yes.
The bravado, not the arrogance, but like the, you know, like you're very comfortable in your own skin. Obviously, not everyone here is like that, guys. But culturally, I think it's way more present than Australia, for example. You familiar with the tall poppy syndrome? You know what that
they
is?
have it. It's like a plague.
Yes. For who doesn't know what this is, what is the tall poppy syndrome? I saw that a lot in Australia, I have to be honest, and in Italy as well. There's a lot of that.
Yeah, in Sweden as well. I think it's just based off of insecurity. You know, it's like the tall poppy syndrome is like there's a bunch of poppies in a field and one is sticking up and you have to cut it down to be. And there's literally a terminology for this in Swedish. It's like called lagom. Like lagom. Like everyone needs to be lagom. And like in Sweden they had this, it's called like jantelagen, and I know I'm like saying these words that no one understands, but it's basically that
it feels like we're IKEA. She's talking about furniture at IKEA.
It's the theory that you're not better than anyone else, and that can be a positive thing where you don't see yourself separate from anyone when you see it in like an energetic thing. But in Sweden, that's not what it means. It means like don't think you're better than anyone else, and you can feel it. I felt it in France. I felt it in Sweden. I love Australia in a lot of different ways, but I find that when you're there long enough, you can feel that too. They have this sense of like, I need to put you in your place, you know, and it's like subconscious.
Who do you think you are? Like, why you think you're better than us? You're not better than us.
So I think like, yes, I come from like both these cultures, but I feel my personality is more American, because I believe that you can get anything you want in life. Doesn't matter where you are right now. There's 100% chance that you can get what you want if you believe it. And I think the Americans adopted this attitude as well because they haven't had a choice, because if you don't make it, no one's coming to help you, because the system is structured in that way. Whereas in Sweden, you can fall back on
and
like someone will take care of you.
The government
and
or whatever.
That's a good system if you're like sick, you know, you have that support.
I mean, there's pros and cons. There's not right or wrong, right?
Right. But it also breeds this kind of like entitlement of like, yeah, it's fine. But here it's like, I have to make it. I have no choice but to make it. And that gives like, you know, you know, they're not fearful of like being cringy or like, you know, I'm just going to do it. And what I love about the US, and I'll speak specifically for Miami because the US, the States are so different from one another. And I've mainly experienced Miami specifically. Like I know Florida is the state, but I'm talking about like the city of Miami. This is like, you know, kind of a melting pot. I've experienced New York, so I can speak a little bit on that as well. But the attitude, you know, in America, you could be like crazy and you'll find one person that believes in you at least. Whereas like in Europe or these other places, you could be a genius and you'd never know because no one will tell you, you know?
Yeah, of course I know. I can come up with a lot of stories. Like Leonardo da Vinci, for example. He was born in Italy and he had to move to France to be recognized as a genius, because in Italy everyone was like, you know, not seeing his potential. But I mean, yeah, there's so many examples like where I feel like once you are recognized in America, then your country recognizes your talent as well. But that's stupid. It shouldn't be that way.
But then
right?
I feel like that's a very philosophical topic as well, because in life, as if whatever you believe while you're here as a human experiencing things, I think you're meant to feel uncomfortable. And maybe Europe, Australia, America is exactly what they're supposed to be. Because if you didn't have, it's like testing the people's potential, testing your soul's involvement. Like, are you going to let these people make you feel small, or are you going to make them feel like the opposite and like prove them wrong? And it's always better to be underestimated, I think, because that, for me, that might break people, but that's their journey. But for me, it's like, I love being underestimated. It gives me a lot of motivation, because it's like, oh, you don't believe in me? Okay, well, you just helped me get one step closer to my success, because I think that's how the law of the universe works, you know? Like, the only one that needs to believe in yourself is yourself. So I think coming from these cultures, it's very precious to be able, because I look back at it now as like an adult, and I'm very grateful that my mom is from one country, my dad is from a different country, but both of them also moved together to a completely different culture. Like, I do see that as a privilege. Like, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be able to connect with so many people so easily, or like have, you know, not that much of a filter in myself. Like, I'm very non-judgmental, like I'm more curious, but you know, it's how you see things. It's like you take it and you can become a victim, or you can be like, this is my education. Because the biggest education is not in school. It's through people and through cultures and through traveling. That's how you become smart. You know?
I mean, yeah, you have to be, how can I say this?
Open-minded.
Yeah, not everyone that travels is smart, but
Yeah.
if you take what you learn in a way that you enrich yourself and you test yourself, yes, you can level up. So it's all about like a personal choice. What am I gonna do with all these lessons that I've learned along the journey? Am I gonna like do something about it or not? Because that's a personal decision.
Right, exactly. And so it's up to each individual to like see things either from a positive light or from a negative light. I think I heard it in a podcast somewhere, because like I love podcasts. I listen to them all the time, but there's some things that I like have stuck to me, and I don't know who said it, but like somebody said the difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person has nothing to do with their talents or their skills. It's that the successful person always sees everything that happens to them as an opportunity. So like even a death, you know, we all go through struggles, we all go through hard things. You can't really judge a person until you've walked a mile in their shoes, right? But a successful person will see anything that's knocked them down as like, thank you, like that helped me to get stronger. I'm going to get back up, like, you know, whereas like the victim mentality that's been surfacing around like social media and like, woe is me, like it's very toxic and it does you no favors. And, you know, at the end of the day, the only way to grow, which is why we're all here, to grow from one another, to learn from one another, is to have equal amount of support and equal amount of challenge. If you have too much of one, you can't grow. Like your brain just like goes into survival mode, or it goes into like, let me relax. You need to have these challenges. So it's like, I think every opportunity, I try to see everything as an opportunity.
I love it. So, okay, young Charlotte is in Paris.
Charlotte is still young.
Charlotte's still young. Younger Charlotte. So, okay, Paris, how was the school? Because
Yeah.
you obviously you decided to like attend a certain type of school to learn like certain
Yeah.
crafts. Why did you?
Why
How
did I
was
choose
it?
that direction?
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. So from when I was little, I always was like drawing clothes. Like I've always have like any girl, I guess, but I've
Yeah.
always loved clothes. I wanted to be a fashion designer.
Barbies, you had Barbies.
Yes, Barbies, brats. I would like go insane about buying them a new outfit. I would force my mother to take me to Toys R Us and like buy her a new outfit because like God forbid that she wears this outfit one more day. You know, like I loved it. And so I started drawing and designing clothes when I was little. And then, and I think, you know, just side note, if you keep your childish spirit alive, the child in you always knows where you're meant to go. Like, it always knows where you're meant to go. Whatever you were drawn to when you were little is what you should be doing as an adult.
Say this again. Say this again.
Yeah. So your childish spirit, if you keep it alive, the child in you always knows the direction that you're meant to go in life that will bring you success. Like, because children and animals, they have no filter for like the other realm, you know? So they just follow their fun. And this is like something that I repeat a lot. Like if you know me, I always say like follow your fun, because I truly believe that if you follow what like sparks your childish joy, like what brings you so much happiness, that's where your success lies. And just because you're an adult, like life doesn't have to be hard. You have to do hard things. You have to do things you don't want to do. Sometimes you have to get up early. You have to have some, there has to be some like pragmatic action behind, the way you lead your life. But you should always follow what makes you feel alive. That's where your success goes. And you know why? It's because that's like a magnet for other people. Like when you get so much like burning desire for something, you're like glowing. You have a different radiance. You have a different aura. So people are going to be magnetized to you. Opportunities will come easier. Money will come eventually. Like I just believe that. And
oh my God,
no,
that's amazing! Yes,
don't you?
Yeah, of course. It took me like 40 years to realize this, because the tendency is you have to, like follow whatever. I want to make money, so I have to get in that industry, or like parents or whoever is telling me, oh, I have to study this because that's where most opportunities are. Fuck that.
Fuck that. And so
fuck that, guys.
Fuck that. And honestly,
just follow, what makes you passionate. What you like.
Follow your fun.
What you like when you were a kid. That's most likely what still brings you joy to this day.
Yes, but the thing is, like, you know where you're going. You just get sidetracked because, again, like money, but then we forget.
Money, society, whatever, your family pressure, peer pressure.
Oh, no, like, I'm cringy. Like, oh, I'm embarrassed. Like, I'm not going to do that. But I think the world has changed because, like, social media and stuff, like, you're always going to have haters and you're always going to have fans, So you can't, and it's just like when you're doing a business, there's like, you try to think of like the business model, you try to think who's my client. And you don't want everyone to be your client. You don't want everyone to be your fan. It's like, it doesn't matter. You don't have to please everyone. The only thing you need to please is yourself. And like, this doesn't happen overnight, but like when you think about it, a kid, what do? They just try to please themselves all the time. Like
they go after what makes them joy.
Happy.
Yes.
Yeah. And that is,
there's not a lot of rational and cognitive thinking.
And why, when a kid is like singing in the street or laughing or running, why do all the adults like smile? And like they're magnetized by children.
Yeah, but when an adult is doing that, they make fun of them.
That's only because they're not happy with them. Then they want to do that themselves. What I'm saying is like everyone wants to live like this. Everyone wants to be like that. Why do adults want to have children? It's to get that like childish like spark.
You think so?
Yes, because I think we're constantly wanting to understand ourselves at the end of the day? Why do we want relationships?
Man, it's such a
all of this.
This
like,
is such a long conversation.
Yeah, but it's constant mirroring, and it's constantly trying to get to the core of who you are, trying to understand you. Every relationship that you've had or that you will have is a mirror of yourself, whether it's platonic, friendship, mother, son, father, daughter, or romantic. It is a constant mirror until you like fully accept, this is who I am and this is who I need to be.
How does someone rediscover that child
in yourself?
In yourself. What is the I assume you've done the work. Otherwise, you wouldn't be talking about this.
Well, I've tried. I mean, like, the thing is, I think something I do like about myself is that I don't think I ever stopped being a kid, because no one told me to stop being a kid. And even when people did, like, I've always gone on my like instinct of things. And when I feel like something just feels wrong, I just like, I don't listen to it, you know? So and it is a big topic, but I just do things that make me feel happy. Like, I still like going to the park and going on a swing. I still do that, because why the fuck would I stop doing that? I like doing it, you know? Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
So I just never...
It sounds so simple and easy,
I just never thought that was weird to do.
We've been conditioned to think that as an adult, you shouldn't be doing certain things and you should be an adult.
And
right?
Yeah, and like, I've had relationships where like the boyfriend I had at the time was very triggered by me like standing at a light, you know, like if I'm standing at a light waiting for the light to turn green, sometimes I would just dance, and it's not even something like I'm thinking about. I'm just moving my body like a kid. Like, I'm
triggered in a good way or a bad way?
Like, they'd be like, "Oh, stop, why you, like, it's embarrassing." I'm like, why? Just dance with me, you know? I just do what I want when I want to do it. And that's when you get to that point, and I'm obviously not at the end of my road. I'm only 34 years old. Even when I die, there'll be things that I still haven't learned. I still won't be like perfect. No one is like, and you're not meant to ever get to the final line of things. You're not meant to like fully understand everything, you know? But you're supposed to take the best out of things. And I think just being authentic and doing what you want when you want will draw the right people that are meant for your life into your life. If you have this persona, you're creating a life that isn't yours. And this is why I feel like people, when they're 50 or like they're in a marriage and people get divorced around that time and they have like a midlife crisis, it's because they're like, shit, I haven't been who I wanted to be. Or I like
fuck
lost
this corporate
myself.
Job. I want to
yeah,
do
whatever.
something.
It can be like, some people have lessons through the career. Some people have lessons through relationships. Some people have lessons through health. You know, we all have different lessons. But I think the core of it is if you stay true to yourself, it doesn't mean, again, that you need to be some bum on the lounge, like just playing video games all day. It's not what being a kid is. It's about seeing life through a child's eye. They see things as positive. They never think that there's a weird question to ask. They're always curious. And even Einstein, like anyone that has been very successful, they've always
kept the child.
They've preached this. Einstein said, like, you have to keep your childish spirit alive, because that's where the creativity comes from. The moment you stop, the moment you disregard your child, is when you stop being creative. And creativity is the most important thing and the most natural thing that a human can do, because we're creating life all the time, you know? So
I think he said something about the power of imagination as well.
Yeah. So
that's a superpower. Like, when you're able to imagine things, that's how you build businesses. That's how you write stories. That's how you come out with like creative ideas and no one thought about it before.
Yeah.
So Steve Jobs was big on that as well. You have to allow yourself to let your imagination flow, because that's how you create a new world.
Well, I think if you go into this like mindset of like, I'm an adult, I can't do this, I can't do that, you fucking lose like anything that was given to you, and then it takes a while to get it back. You know, like, you can train yourself to get it back, but you know, it's never lost. It's always going to be in there, but you have to have some courage. And I think when you have courage, the universe always rewards courage, because not a lot of people are willing to be courageous, right?
Let's go.
But no, going back to Paris, I think, so I had an amazing time in Paris, and I didn't feel alone at all there. Actually, I felt like I could breathe finally. Like, you know, I got out of my house, obviously, and it's nothing to do with that. I wanted to get away from my family, but when you have a big family, you kind of want some independence, and I was just craving to live alone. So I moved there and obviously went to design school, and something that Parsons was great for is that the first year was foundation year, so I didn't go directly into fashion. It's like you get to learn about art history and all this other stuff, but once you're in fashion, they force you to think so creatively non-stop. And so we would have to do like sketches, like 100 sketches a night. Mm-hmm. And so you can only have so many ideas. So then you start like after 20 sketches, you're like, what else can I draw? Mm-hmm. And then you have to get creative. You have to like cut half of it up to like, you know, so you have to start thinking outside of the box. And so obviously in university, it's based on grades. So you just like have no choice but to be at home until like 1 a.m. and just get your fucking work done, right? But I think, so my entire 20s was just about doing that. And so once you think so creatively every day, you just can't stop. And then you start making connections with other things in the world. And, you know, through this journey of mine, I just started seeing around 25, which was also when my grandfather died, which was like very significant for me. I went back to Australia, and it really affected me, his death, because he was a neurologist, and I was in my thesis year in Parsons. So thesis is like when you're in fashion school, you have to make a collection. Your runway is your thesis. So I had to make, a runway collection. And in Australia, before I started that collection, the only thing that would make me feel better about him passing away was being in nature, like sitting on cliffs and just like, you've been to Australia.
Where would you go in Sydney?
Everywhere. Like my mom was there at the time too, so we were just like driving around, but we would go to like the eastern suburbs or like Vaucluse or like...
I used to live in Vaucluse, like the cliffs, right?
Yeah, the cliffs. So I would just sit out and like just like watch the ocean. Or like, have you been to like the national park?
Ku-ring-gai?
It's just, yeah. Or like I went to as well the Three Sisters, what's it called? The Blue Mountains?
Never.
Okay, it's 2 hours outside of Australia, and it's really nice. And it's the Three Sisters are these 3 cliffs that are right next to each other. But basically, just think about like, I mean, any type of nature that you can find in the world exists in Australia. Like there's places that look like Thailand. There's places that look like the south of France. There's places that look like Italy. Like it's all in one. Like that's what's great about that country, you know?
Australia is incredible, guys. Incredible.
So that would make me feel better. And then like when I got back to Paris and I had to do this collection, I just started like, and this was during the time where I was around 25 years old. So like 9 years ago, I started getting into Joe Dispenza, and then I started thinking about, how he breaks down that we're all energy and like you have to become nothing in order to become everything. So, I just started seeing...
Who is Joe Dispenza? If you don't know who Joe Dispenza is and what he talks about, what is like his thing?
Yeah, so he's written many books, but he comes from, what's the word for his profession that he came from? He's a...
Neuroscientist?
Well, he is.
Biologist?
No, but he used to... he was originally a chiropractor, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of people have different views around this profession, but he is... I don't know if he has doctor because of that, but then he went into neuroscience and he speaks about this a lot. And I personally like his work a lot, and I discovered him now I know he's like on trend, but I discovered him a long time ago.
Well, how did you bump into this guy?
Well, I think it was through podcasts, because I started listening to Impact Theory, this couple that made the Quest bar. And so it's Tom Bilyeu and Lisa Bilyeu, who, by the way, I ran into Lisa Bilyeu very randomly at the plaza here at one night. Like I was just walking my dog.
They live in Miami?
No, they were just here, like on vacation, and they were staying there.
This guy has a very successful podcast.
I love them, and they have a lot of interesting people on their podcast. And I ran into her, and she's a very nice woman, and they've really inspired me a lot. But I think I found Joe Dispenza through that podcast.
Okay.
So basically, then I started understanding that like we're not separate, and the more you feel like close to the world around you, the more you feel close to yourself, and the more you realize that nothing is impossible because you're just an extension of your thought, right? So whatever you think is real. If you think you're not gonna make it, you're right. If you think you're gonna make it, you're right. If you think like everyone's against you, you're right. If you think like everything happens for a reason, you're right.
If you think the world is shit and people are shit, that's your
like,
reality.
It's like the concept of like, there's this thing, it's like this scientific proof about when people take LSD in a group, everyone has the same trip. So it's like if I tell you don't think about a pink elephant, what are you going to think about?
Of course.
Yeah. So it's like whatever you place your mind on. So that was really impactful for me that time. And then I graduated, and I ended up going into a jewelry career, because I did like a jewelry master's in a French school.
Okay.
And that's where I stayed. And I kind of went out of fashion, even though what I liked doing in fashion was prints. And so for my thesis, just to like pay like homage to this feeling of everything is happens for a reason type thing, we're all connected. I was never really gravitating towards inspiration from fashion to make fashion. Instead, I would always go into like science stuff. So I discovered this research done on tears, because I was crying a lot, obviously, when my grandfather died. And then I just stumbled upon this photographer. I forget her name, but basically she used this specific lens, like in a microscope, where she would like take people's tears, dry them, put them under a microscope, and you could see patterns based on the emotion. So
like Masaru Emoto, the Japanese guy that did the experiment on water.
I guess, yeah, it's similar. Like it's all vibrations, right? But like when you're cutting onions and you cry from onions,
it's very different patterns.
Floral. When you're like crying because of grief, it's very like there's some vertical and horizontal lines, but they're very far apart. When you're crying because of laughter, it looks like raindrops on a window. So I took 7 emotions that I had experienced through my like journey in Parsons, and I can't remember all of the ones that I took, but then I printed patterns. I like made my own fabrics out of those tears. I changed the color. I like mirrored them. I like, interconnected them or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I did that. And what I loved about it, like I kind of like, I don't know, I guess like it's like the rebel in me, but then you have a runway show. And so the models are wearing
your creations.
Yeah, the prints. And people taking photos of it, but little do they know that they're taking photos of themselves, because those prints can be created by their tears. So I like this like dichotomy of things. You know?
How was it received? This creative
it was good.
Experiment.
I had a lot of good feedback from that, and I'd like to get back into it. But the fashion industry itself is not something that I really find of interest any longer, because I think that the people are so far removed from what's meaningful in life. Like it's very much a bullying environment, and I personally believe that you can get anything done in life and have a successful company and be like a trailblazer and still speak to people with kindness and still be assertive. It's like everything is about delivery. You don't have to belittle people. You don't have to dismiss.
You saw that in the fashion world?
Yeah. It's like, for me,
It's a lot of status.
Yeah, but at the same time, I also feel like it was meant for my journey, because I'm really into, obviously talking and people and like psychology. But I got so into human psychology because of observing the way people were acting in this industry, I was like, why are they acting like this? Is very weird. It's very bizarre. It's on like on a primitive level. We've evolved past that. You know, there's a way to get things done, and I think keep your keep your moral compass and keep your value system intact without, making someone feel small or like dismissing them, or it's just weird. It's a weird environment. So I ended up going into jewelry because I just felt that it was nice to like sit and like work with jewelry. I used to do that when I was a kid as well, in Miami actually.
Like make your own jewelry?
Yeah, like when we were visiting Miami, we would go to a hotel that doesn't exist any longer, but it was called the Sinesta, and for people in Miami, they would know it. But like the way I grew up in Miami, like for me, Miami was Key Biscayne, like Key Biscayne, the Sinesta, and there was this woman named Judy there that I would like sit on the beach for hours and just make jewelry with her, like just beads and stuff. And I would just be like so into it. And she had told my mom when I was little, Charlotte's very creative. She should go to Parsons.
Oh,
and so that's why when I was like 19, my mom was like, oh, there's this school called Parsons. So I ended up going there. I ended up graduating from there. So what I'm trying to say is that life has its little way of showing you exactly where you're going. It's all about opening your eyes.
And you have to be aware.
You just have to open
signs.
your eyes. Like anything that you're seeing now, it's giving you little hints about who you're going to meet, who you're going to be, what you're going to become. Everything it's always showing you directions. But when you're on your phone looking down, you might miss those opportunities. So you need to be like really engulfed and present in life. And I got like super into this mindset in Paris. I was seeing signs all the time, numbers, people. Like I just don't believe in coincidences. I think everything leads to something, whether it's like a bad experience, you needed that bad experience. You needed it. Like we all needed it in different ways. But there's constant signs all the time showing you where you're going to be. You just have to believe them. And when you look through life in that lens, you become very grateful because you're like, thank you, universe. Like, oh, you showed me that. Oh, it makes sense now. Like, thank you, So it's just like life is like very beautiful in that way.
Have you always been this way? Like,
yeah,
seeing what's beyond the
horizon,
everyday.
I think
repetitive.
I think I've
boring life.
Yes, I think I've always been like very, like Pippi Longstocking, like very like adventurous and like high energy and very positive. But obviously, when you're a teenager, you have your dips, you have your depression, whatever. But being in Paris, you just have to believe in yourself when you're in a creative field, because it's not necessarily, not everyone's going to succeed in that field. So you have to believe that something's beyond of what you can see right now.
Yeah.
And so for me to believe, and, there's a lot of nuances that I'm not really bringing up because it's going to be such a long conversation. But, I learned a lot through my relationships as well. And, when you're sometimes not treated the way you thought you would be treated, instead of taking a victim mindset, I do have a tendency in my life to be like, well, either self-reflective and be like, okay, what is this telling me? Like, what's the situation telling me about my personality, what I need to change? Or I'll be like, oh, well, it happens for a reason. Like, I don't have a victim mindset. So I just think that everything is like working in my favor all the time.
That's a beautiful way of living. I like that. So like the reason why we're here on the podcast is like the hero's journey, which I'm sure you're familiar with, which is essentially like the evolutionary path that everyone goes through with different experiences, obviously, but the stages are universal.
Yeah.
What would be like a moment in your journey that you would say really shaped you or gave you like a big lesson? Like, is there something along this journey that you want to like mention, you want to share, that was like very pivotal in your evolutionary
in my development
process?
Of like myself?
Yes.
Yeah. I think
whether like a big lesson or something
Yeah.
that you found yourself completely at the bottom, and
Yeah.
you had to like find in yourself like those.
I think there's been a lot, and but I don't know. My brain has a tendency to like experience trauma and just like move on from it. So like I don't like there's so much to like say, you know.
Pick one.
I guess I would say that my emotional hardship has shaped me a lot.
What do you mean, like relationships?
Yes, like I think that's probably something my soul signed up for, because I haven't really like I've struggled in a lot of different areas, but I've had a very good life. But I think when you come off as very like fun loving and positive, people think like she's had like a very easy life, you know. It's not true. Like we all have different struggles, but I think my struggle and my lesson in life is to overcome like emotional hurt. Like my heart has been broken a lot in my life, like not only from like boyfriends, but like from like, you know, parents or like situations and stuff, because I'm a very sensitive person. But mending my heart is very difficult to do, and like, you know, it's like grief. So I think that has been like my biggest hurdle in life. But it's also the reason why I am the way I am, and where like I have so much love to give everyone. And I just have always decided that no one's you know how like some people, something happens to you and they kind of like, well, I'm going to do that to the next person, or I'm going to be like that because this is how it is. I'm the opposite. Something happens to me, I'm like, no one's going to feel like this ever. Like I'm never going to make anyone feel like this. Like I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to give like even more love, you know, to people. So I think that's made me like even more compassionate and even more understanding and even more loving. Like I just truly believe that like love, you know, and I'm not only discussing romantic love, I'm discussing like having so much love in your heart is like so magnetic as well. And it just makes, if you can give like so much love, like always, because everyone needs it. That's the only way we do, that's the only reason we're doing what we're doing. It's the only reason, like, you know, men try to climb to the top, or like women try to be beautiful, and like we try to be the best all the time. We just want to be loved. Everyone wants to be loved in whatever capacity that means, you know. So I think like, if you can just, I think you should leave everyone you meet feeling better than before they met you. That should be like everyone's philosophy. And it's not like you're perfect every day. Sometimes you have a bad day and like you might not mean it, but you might like say something or like have a certain aura about you that maybe makes someone feel not that great. But as long as you're self-aware and you constantly keep evaluating where you're going and who you are, because it doesn't matter what you really like, what you're accomplishing in life, other than you're accomplishing you making yourself better from what you were yesterday. Like that's everyone's duty in life, is to be better than they were yesterday, a better person. Like to sleep on your pillow feeling like, I'm a better person today. Like kindness is the most important thing. Kindness. And it doesn't mean that you're a pushover, because there's people that are nice and there's people that are kind. There's a huge difference. Anyone can be nice and put a smile on it. It doesn't mean they're a kind person or a good person. A kind person might have to tell you straightforward, black and white, like, you know, they might have to tell you off, might have to set boundaries, but a kind person like is in your heart, you know? So I think like, you know, I'm not going to go into like all the details of like how my heart was broken, because everyone has had a broken heart.
No, I'm not going to ask you. Don't worry.
I mean, I don't mind to disclose. It's going to be a 4-hour conversation, so I'm not going to take up. Yeah, but and I'm more than happy to discuss that on a different day. But me mending back my heart I think is my biggest strength, because I just like, it just made me like, yeah, a better person. Like, I don't think anyone that hurt me is a bad person. I don't think anyone that's like hurt my feelings, because it's also my perception of things. And it's like, I don't really believe, like, apart from like, you know, the obvious things of like, you know, murder or whatever, I don't think that there's bad people. I think like it's neutral. It's like what you perceive as bad, I might perceive as good, you know? So it's like, yeah, I don't know. My mind is like wandering a lot, because if you go into like something like human design, we all have energies. And the reason why I got into human design during COVID a bit, because it's quite like complex. So that's definitely a different episode. But
yeah, I wanted to ask you that, but I'm sure that's going to be...
That's a different episode, because it's like so complex, and I kind of have this tendency to like master things and then move on. So it's not really like too
Human
much
design, essentially, like to make it very short, is like an energetic profile that everyone has, similar to the horoscope, but different.
Yeah, like kind of like numerology, but it kind of what's interesting about it is like when you get your chart, it like breaks you down into energy centers. So like motor centers. So there's 9 of them, and like kind of like chakras. So it kind of goes back to like the Joe Dispenza stuff of like the energy. So how you give off energy, how I give off energy, how you take in energy, it's all going to be different. So when I delved into that, like 5 or 6 years ago, I got so deep into it, because I was like, wow, it literally means that nothing should be taken personal. Nothing is personal. Some people's energies work for you and some people's don't. So you can just be like, you can just accept a person and either be like, they're like that and I'm going to choose to have them in my life, or like, they're like that and it doesn't work for my energy. But it's not personal. And it's just very liberating. You can walk through life, again, not feeling like a victim, feeling like, this is just... It's just like books I'm reading. It's just like different chapters. And like, I don't like this book any longer, so I'm going to open a new book.
Guys,
you know?
That's I love the mindset. We could go on for much longer, but time is ticking. So like, to wrap it up, is there anything that I haven't asked you that you wanted to share, or something that we haven't touched that you feel like you want to like put it out there?
Not really. I think it was a very organic conversation, which is what I was hoping for it to be. But obviously, the more we stay on like each topic, the more like lanes there are. Like I see connections in everything. So
I can see that.
You know, but no, I think we touched on a lot of things. I think there's like episodes from each topic that we touched on. But
how do you want to leave the audience, or like what's the final words? I'll give you like full control.
The pressure. The pressure. No, I don't really want to leave anything off other than just like, you know, summarizing of what we said. Like, I truly believe you should follow your fun, should be authentic to yourself. Don't think about, the only opinion you need to think about is the one you have of yourself. And just, you know, keep your childish spirit alive, and life gets so much easier. Success gets so much easier. Opportunities get so much easier. People come, people go, but like, what's meant for you will stay if you just continue being authentic. And it comes back to being in this childish spirit that I think whether you're a man or a woman, old, young, whatever, this is magnetic. And it's like you create this field of energy around you that like can't be touched. And even if it tries to be touched, it's just going to turn into a rainbow.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Voila.
All right, guys. For me, it was a pleasure. If you enjoyed this interview, we would really like urge you to rediscover that childish energy that you have.
Follow your fun.
Follow your fun. I'm sure for some of you it sounds like it's weird or uncomfortable, but
we don't care.
we do care, because we want you to discover that, because life will unfold in a very colorful and fun way. So if that's how we're gonna leave you today, is like rediscover that child that you have inside, because it's still there.
Yes.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, Zeppelin, that's sleeping here. I think he's now finding his space in the apartment. He's comfortable. Yeah. And where can people like find you, or like your art, your jewelry?
Well, so
wanna share that.
I deactivated my Instagram.
Me too. So we're off of social media, off the grid.
Yeah, but I might be back. But it's Saskia Nord. So Saskia is my middle name. My first name is Charlotte, but it's Saskia Nord on Instagram. And then nord-world.com. It's a website that I encapsulates like jewelry that I've made and kind of the philosophy of life. But there's a lot more things that I want to put out there, but I'm only really starting to pick up momentum again because I did lose my creativity. I didn't lose my creativity, but I lost the motivation and the action towards it. So I'm thinking about what more I can do around that.
It's going to come back.
Yeah, I think it will. Things need to happen organically and when the time is right. So,
all right, guys, we're excited for Charlotte and her journey. Thank you for watching and thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you, Matteo.
Ciao, ciao.